What's up, people? Welcome back to Chris Chats Comics. My name is Chris Gonzalez, and after a little bit of a hiatus, I'm back again for another episode of Trade Talk Tuesdays. And for this episode, we're going to be talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. This is Volume 4, and this is written by Jonathan Hickman, and this is the conclusion of his run, so let's get into it. So welcome back. So Trade Talk Tuesdays is the video series where I highlight, discuss, review a collected edition or a couple collected editions, whether they're just recently released or they're in my collection. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a trade paperback, it could be a hardcover, but most of the time it is a trade paperback. But yeah, like I mentioned, for this episode, we're going to be going over Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 4, One Last Day, and this is in celebration for the recent and massive success of Spider-Man Brand New Day that's in theaters right now. It's made over $2 billion, so that's pretty crazy, but this is the final volume of Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man run, and yeah, so like always, I'm going to read the back excerpt. And so, Jonathan Hickman's acclaimed saga of Peter Parker and his amazing family concludes. Brace yourself for Fisk versus Mr. Negative versus Mysterio, with Spider-Man and his allies caught in the middle. Will the Sinister Six destroy New York before they destroy each other? Plus, Harry Osborn lives. Peter and Mary Jane share another fateful dinner with Harry and Gwen, and a last will and testament is read, and it's all building to a finale you won't want to miss. As the Ultimate Universe approaches its endgame, what will that mean for Spider-Man and his Ultimate friends and family? You can't possibly be prepared for Jonathan Hickman and Marco Checchetto have plans for Peter Parker as your favorite comic book comes to an unforgettable end. So yeah, this collects Ultimate Spider-Man issues 19 through 24 and material from Ultimate Universe Finale #1. And again, the creators on this book, again, it's written by Jonathan Hickman, the artwork's done by Marco Checchetto and David Messina, and the colorists are Matthew Wilson and Eric Arciniega. The letterer is Corey Pettit, and for the Ultimate finale part, Marco Checchetto again is on the artwork with Marcio Menez on the colors, and Travis Laneham is doing the lettering for that one. So yeah, at first I really enjoyed this series. I thought it was a fresh take on Spider-Man. It was an opportunity to build new dynamics with different characters and a different part of Peter Parker's life as he's married with kids, and Uncle Ben is still alive, and it was just a different take. And when this series initially launched, I thought it was a breath of fresh air. And as it was announced that most of the Ultimate Universe titles were coming to an end at issue 24, it kind of, to be honest, had an underwhelming ending. And that's unfortunate because I enjoyed most of the run. Those first 12 issues were really good, exciting, and it just gave us an insight into what a married Peter Parker who obtained his powers in his mid 30s would look like. And Jonathan Hickman, I think he has a good voice for Peter Parker. The artwork by Marco Checchetto was really done well, but in this volume it switches back and forth between Marco Checchetto and David Messina, which, nothing against David Messina, I just think Marco Checchetto's artwork is just phenomenal, and just even in certain issues it would cut back and forth, and that was unfortunate because it was a little jarring. And the reason for that is, Marco Checchetto, he revealed that he was dealing with health problems, so that's why the artwork kept changing. So and it's a bummer. I want him to be as healthy as possible, but it did definitely hurt this series and at the end. But let's go ahead in issue 19. So at the end in issue 18, Felicia Hardy, this version of Felicia Hardy betrayed Richard Parker, Peter's son, and set him up. And this issue 19 just follows up with the aftermath, and Peter and Felicia, not Peter, Richard and Felicia, they meet up again, and they just discuss what had happened, and then it cuts back to that moment where Felicia double-crossed Peter, or I keep saying Peter, Richard. But then during that confrontation, the nano suit that Richard's wearing that has its own autonomy turns itself into the ultimate version of Venom. And look at this artwork, it's just incredible. So Venom takes over, tries to take out the Sinister Six, or members of the Sinister Six, only Kingpin was here, but Kingpin, he ends up escaping. And again, this is just the artwork by Checchetto, so it's just really great. And the Sinister Six, again, they're just dealing with the aftermath of what had happened, and they're trying to figure out their next move. And yeah, so I just really thought this volume was, it just ended underwhelming. I felt like the story definitely could have continued, and it just deals with Mr. Negative. I felt like that subplot of Mr. Negative coming to try to take over the Sinister Six was, I wish there was more build-up, because we get some of the Sinister Six, or Mr. Negative's backstory, and how, him and his sister came into New York, and how they got into crime, and, how Mr. Negative used his powers for them to ascend, but he couldn't take over Kingpin, because Kingpin had such a strong will. But then it goes with just dealing with all the stuff, the infighting between the Sinister Six, and then the Mysterios were making their play on their next plan. And again, of course, Gwen is a part of that. Robbie Robertson, James Wesley, who is Kingpin's right-hand man. But again, the artwork, it's just incredible. Like Marco Checchetto, like anytime he was on interiors, I loved it. And so yeah, and this volume also deals with how Uncle Ben and J. Jonah, they were, trying to, implement their plan on, exposing Kingpin to the world, and, the inner workings of how Kingpin came into power, and how the people of New York are essentially being played, and they're being controlled by the conglomerates that Kingpin has developed, and it's trying to suppress them, and he's doing it under the Maker's ruling. So again, just dealing with also the inner workings of Peter's and MJ's relationship, and how they're trying to parent, and MJ's worried with all that's happened. Initially she was supportive of Peter following his gut instincts and becoming Spider-Man, but she's with all that has happened, she's starting to doubt herself and starting to doubt the whole thing, because again, a lot has happened, and their whole family's been in danger. And so MJ has tells Peter to tell her everything. And then there's one issue where Peter, MJ, and Gwen, they go to dinner, and then everybody, they reveal all their secrets, and Peter's like, or MJ, she wants everybody to be transparent. And yeah, so they reveal all their secrets, and I just thought this issue was very slow. It's like, okay, we've had already, out of 24 issues, 2 issues are both dinners, dinner, where they go to dinner. Yes, stuff happened, but did it really happen? And then, we get Uncle Ben having a discussion with Richard about what Richard's been doing and his adventures. And, but we cut back to, again, everybody laying everything out on the table and revealing why they're doing what they're doing and what the ramifications could be. And I just thought it was just kind of boring. And then eventually Gwen and MJ, they, try to have their own separate conversation in the bathroom, and MJ knocks Gwen out. So I thought that was pretty surprising, because with Gwen revealing that she is one of the Mysterios, MJ can't trust Gwen's motivations. So, and then we, again, like I mentioned, Mr. Negative is planning on his own ascension. And so I did like the Mr. Negative aspects. I feel like the issue that focused on Mr. Negative was probably the best issue. And we get Mr. Negative, he kidnaps Wesley, and he gets Wesley to reveal all Wesley's secrets involving, Peter Parker's identity and his own secret of being a part of the Mysterios. So I thought that was pretty cool. And again, Mr. Negative, he has his own end goal. And again, he wants to take over. He wants to overthrow Kingpin. And again, this just goes over his backstory with his sister. And his sister is one of the Mysterios as well, and he finds that out. And yeah, so also again, it just goes over how Otto, they're having, him and Harry are discussing what the next plan is. But again, David Messina's art was okay, but again, it's not like Marco Checchetto's. So, but I understand why Marco Checchetto couldn't do all the issues. He has to focus on his health. But again, this is probably my favorite issue, was the one that went over Mr. Negative's backstory. I just wish we had a more of a lead up to how Mr. Negative was going behind Kingpin's back, and Mr. Negative's quest for power. I just felt like it was so sudden in this last volume. And again, we have Wesley. While he and the other Mysterios are meeting, Mr. Negative, used his powers to, coerce Wesley into revealing all his secrets. And then Mr. Negative, again, just making his play at everybody, the Sinister Six, the Mysterios, Spider-Man, everybody. And he plants Wesley with C4 to take out all the Mysterios. And you think that's done. So I thought that was pretty surprising. And so I thought that, again, one of the better issues. And then we get the next issue. Otto is actually dressed up as Spider-Man, so I appreciated the reference to his days and as Superior Spider-Man in Dan Slott's run, and that's in the normal 616 timeline. But I thought that was pretty cool. And this is where the Parker family, they moved to they're staying in the Savage Land now, at a house, and to keep safe from what's gonna happen. And then again, Uncle Ben and J. Jonah, they're gonna figure out how they're gonna broadcast their findings about Kingpin and everything to the world, and so they're just discussing that. So yeah, all in all, and then we get to the main fight. Eventually, Peter and Harry, we'll get to the main fight in a little bit, but Peter and Harry, they're just talking about how, since Gwen has supposedly died, Peter's just wondering how Harry's doing, and Harry's, it's not dealing with it well, because a lot has happened to Harry. And then we get Otto. He is telling Richard that this device that needs to be implanted to one of the nodes in Fist Tower. So he runs it by Richard, and Richard's like, okay, I know somebody who can help with this. And eventually he seeks out Felicia because she's a professional thief, and so we'll follow up with that later. But yeah, the artwork was really great. So then, again, Richard, he seeks out Felicia, and he asks her to help him implant this device inside Fist's tower. But then at the end, it's revealed that the Mysterios are alive, and I guess they merged into one another using magic. It's not really explained well, but I guess they're alive, and that's where the issue ends. And then we get to issue 23. So MJ confronts Otto about, where Richard has gone, and so Otto tells him, and so Peter is, obviously Peter and MJ are pissed off at Otto, but Otto, he gives Peter this device that will dampen Fist's powers. So Peter's off to Fist Tower, and then we get again insight into what's going on with Richard and Felicia. They infiltrate this tower through the 23rd floor, and they're trying to again install this device. I'm not sure, and forgive me, it's not really detailed what this device actually does. I think it's to help the broadcast go out to the world. Not quite sure, but then eventually they do broadcast the article revealing who Fisk really is, what he's been doing to the city, and the true revelations regarding how the world was created with the Maker. And then Mr. Negative, he eventually reveals that he reveals to Kingpin that Wesley was a Mysterio, and he reveals who Spider-Man was to Mysterio. Meanwhile, the Bullseyes are waiting for, not sure exactly where they're at, but Green Goblin and Mysterio, they're on their own mission, and again, it kept going back and forth between the different styles, so it was a little jarring. But again, I understand why it had to happen. And then we get into the final fight. It's Initially, Mr. Negative, he was trying to overthrow Kingpin, but they agreed to a temporary truce to fight Spider-Man. We get to the final fight of Spider-Man versus Mr. Negative and Kingpin, and then we get, Richard and Felicia trying to install the device. And so again, artwork is incredible. But then, Kingpin Mr. Negative using his powers to prevent Peter from moving. Pretty great. Then Kingpin just beats the shit out of Spider-Man. And you think it's done, but Peter, he's very resilient. But again, the artwork, so detailed, and I appreciated his artwork since Mark Waid's Daredevil run and his Daredevil run with Chip Zdarsky. So Marco Checchetto, definitely one of my favorite artists, but when he's on interiors, this is great. Action is very dynamic, and eventually the Mysterios, combine with one another, and Goblin, they run into Captain Britain, and Captain Britain, sees that Kingpin is falling short. So essentially, Captain Britain and the Mysterios make a deal where the Mysterios are going to replace Kingpin on the Maker's Council. And then again, Kingpin and Mr. Negative think they have Peter defeated, but again, Peter's resilient and he's not done yet. So that leads to the final issue. And since, you know, again, we get the 3 storylines going on at one point. Now, at one point, Peter reaches out to Harry to help, but Harry, he declines to help Peter because he's going to stay with his wife, or what was a semblance of his wife. But eventually, Peter, he takes out Mr. Negative so he can stop. Mr. Negative can stop using his powers, and then now they're on an even playing field, and this is all leading to the fight between Kingpin and Spider-Man. It's a great fight. And then meanwhile, back in this where Felicia and Richard goes Venom to, because I guess the defensive system of the vaults that they're sneaking into has similar material as the suit that Richard's wearing, so it's adapting and it forms this version of anti-venom. So eventually, while that's happening, Kingpin, he's, you know, gloating. He's like, yeah, you're gonna die, your kid's gonna die, and you failed. So again, keeps going back and forth. Look at this artwork. But then again, Peter uses the device, or tries to use the device. Meanwhile, yeah, look at this. But yeah, eventually, you know, Peter, he does get the best of Kingpin and defeats them. Again, the article from the paper has been broadcast to the world. The people know what's really going on behind the scenes, and just like this. So eventually, of course, Spider-Man's gonna win. And Richard, he is able to plant a device, and him and Felicia embrace each other. And I thought this was a cute scene. And Kingpin and Mysterio, or Kingpin and Mr. Negative, they're defeated. Again, the Mysterios make a deal with Captain Britain, and I'm not sure again how that plays out in Ultimate Endgame, if it does at all. But then Kingpin and Mr. Negative, they fight it out. They essentially take out each other, and they both die. So I thought that was, you know, a fitting ending to them. So they both fall off the building and they die. And yeah, so again, the article is published by the paper. Everybody knows the truth. And it's revealed that even though Gwen's here, it's still all the Mysterios are combined, and she can't be with Harry anymore. And Harry's, you know, upset about it, and he seeks out Peter's for advice on what he should do. Peter just tells him, just try to be better every day. And then we get a flashback to, I guess they're in college. Peter and MJ are in college. It's a flashback to when they first found out that they were gonna have a kid together. And so I thought that was a wholesome and sweet moment, and it just, this is what I think the series was about, just the family dynamics of Peter and his family. So again, I thought that was a fresh take, but I just wanted more to flesh out the subplots. And Jonathan Hickman is very deliberate when plotting out his stories, and I feel like with just 24 issues, I feel like just it was rushed towards the end, and it didn't really have the time to have these subplots develop, even though, again, some of the character dynamics were great. His voice for Spider-Man was great. I just wanted more, and I felt like when they announced that it was ending at issue 24, I just, you know, thought it just killed all the momentum that the series was building, and especially during that first year. So And then we get an epilogue of them going back to their home. And again, they're embracing their new life and as a family. And again, just cutting back and forth between the different art styles, again, very jarring. So I did like how they made a callback to the end of the issue 1, but this time it's with the family. So, and then we get another, just a small story, material from the Ultimate finale, and it was cool, kind of meaningless. It just shows Peter and MJ, they had to go to this parent-teacher conference regarding their daughter May, because she's been absent a lot, but meanwhile Peter has to deal with some villains, and in typical Peter Parker fashion, he's late, but the artwork again is amazing. And I wanted Marco Checchetto to be on more, but I understand why he wasn't, due to his health problems. And so it's revealed that the reason, but look at this though, oh man, Marco Checchetto draws a nice Spider-Man. So it's revealed that the reason that May has been absent is because she's been in the suit. So it was a fun story, but again, a little meaningless, but that's pretty much it. You know, again, it was a little underwhelming. I see what they're trying to do, but I just feel like with more issues, they would have been able to flesh out and develop more of these subplots, because I felt like, again, with like the Mr. Negative subplot, just felt very rushed, and just the conclusions of everything was pretty underwhelming, and some things weren't really explained that well. But all in all, the series was pretty good. I still recommend it, and will it go down as a memorable run? Maybe, but I don't know. It's just the whole way the Ultimate Universe ended. I don't know what Marvel was thinking, but I still recommend it. So again, this was Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 4, the conclusion of Jonathan Hickman and Marco Checchetto's run. So I recommend it. So let me know if you guys read it, what your thoughts are in the comments. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So the next episode of Trade Talk Tuesdays, I'm going to go over Ultimate X-Men Volume 4 by Peach Momoko, and this is like Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 4. This is the conclusion of Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men run, and I think this is my favorite series out of the Ultimate line, so I can't wait to get into this. But yeah, that's it. So again, leave a like on the video, share it if you can, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, so I would really appreciate it. And thank you for watching the video. And again, this has been Chris Chats Comics. My name's Chris Gonzalez, and I'm out. Peace.